Bill Roberts Chevrolet Pace Truck has turned its lights off, heads back into the pit area, and now the field of 21 under the control of J.C. Morton. Slowed into turn 3, hits the Pitts Realty start zone, and J.C. Morton, in a quest for a championship at the Diamond of Dirt Tracks, leads us off into turn 1. Plume of smoke coming out from the 18, so maybe not the way J.C. Morton wanted to get this night started. Jalen Wettengale behind him in the 91, and J.C. still has plenty of speed, even though he is having the issue that he is right now. Lots of smoke out of the back end of the 18. But still a 1 second advantage over Jalen Wettengale, then another 0.6 back to Hoyt Miller. Hoyt Miller 3-car lengths behind Jalen Wettengale. And a car to the inside, and the night done for Terry Kirk. He's going to park it on the infield. J.C. Morton a half a straightaway ahead of Jalen Wettengale now. And a car into the wall over in turn 3. That is the 19 of Tanner Cade. Brings out the Midwest Sheet Metal caution. And the 18 has fire underneath the hood. Everybody's going to run a 20-lap main. So 15 laps to go. And the test for JC is to see if he can get all the way back up to the front and make a run for a win through the Pitts Realty restart zone. Jalen Wettengale would love nothing more than to pick up his first B-Mod win of the year on the final night of the Big Adventure Championship Series here at Lucas Oil Speedway, and he has checked out 3 cars, all running for second. JT Carroll gets a nudge from Hoyt Miller. Terry Schultz right up the track as he hits a rut, going to give the second place position back away. Hoyt Miller will leapfrog him. JT Carroll will do the same thing, and what was 3 wide just 1 lap ago is now all nose to tail as Hoyt Miller a little bit of distance, and he's now going to try to track down Jalen Wettengale. Mitchell Franklin in the F1 to the infield, past winner in that Franklin chassis. Kenny Carroll excavating F1, he's going to park it on the infield. And Jalen Wettengale's lead was 0.59 seconds, and now it's 1.3 seconds. He has really gapped Hoyt Miller on that last circuit, as Hoyt now coming under fire by JT Carroll. Cross flags in the air, 10 laps down, 10 to go. Only 1 caution has come out so far as Jalen Wettengale, after taking over the lead on lap 5 when J.C. Morton went out of the race, has led every lap since and is just building on that lead. Jalen has yet to win in a B-Mod this year. He's currently 5th in the point standings. 8 stock car wins. He's finished 4th here. He did that on back-to-back nights in August. And a car stopped in turn 2, pointed the wrong direction. Midwest Sheet Metal caution will come out, and it is for the 8X of Scott Chisholm. Scott Chisholm, only a couple of features this season. And in the 2 races he's ran here at Lucas Oil Speedway, finished 17th in both of those events. So a couple cars dropping out. Logan Smith being another one of those, I believe, and he was second in the points. Obviously a pretty good gap in points from first to second, where Logan Smith was behind him. Trevor Drake was third in points. Trevor not here. And then it was a 40-point gap between second and fourth of Logan Smith and Hoyt Miller. Again, Hoyt having a really good run. And Logan Smith not on the track now. So could be possible, well, it is going to be possible for Hoyt Miller to get up into the top 3 in points. Just not quite sure if he's going to be able to get up to second or not. Hoyt chose to go to the inside of row 2 on that last restart, chooses to do the same thing, and he will have J.T. Carroll with him again. And J.C. Morton, your champ, is just going to go ahead and park it on the infield right now. Had issues on lap 5. Say he had issues on lap 5. He had issues from the drop of the green when smoke started to come out from underneath the power plant. And with the caution light turned off, green flag in hand, Jalen Wettengale. 11 laps in the books, 9 remain for the Topeka, Kansas driver through the Pitts Realty restart zone. Back underway, and Hoyt Miller, not a great restart for him. J.T. Carroll does get a good restart. So he is able to jump up to second. And we will see if the 94 has anything for Jalen Wettengale. Car stopped over in turn 3 this time, and the Midwest Sheet Metal caution will come out again. I think that's Kenny Nutter. Yep, it is. The El Rodeo sponsored driver out of Bolivar, Missouri. Brings out the caution after completing 3 more laps, so now 14 have been completed and 6 laps left. Biggest mover, at least up front anyway, has been Bobby Williams. He's up 7 spots. Donnie Jackson started in 21st. He's up to 10th, but Bobby Williams, he started in 10th and up to 3rd. So he hasn't passed the most cars, but he's put himself in a position to where he can trounce if given the opportunity. All the cars get lined back out. Jalen Wettengale slow into 3. Through the Pitts Realty restart zone, JT Carroll gets a little squirrely, and Bobby Williams, he now wants to see the front. If you're not the top dog, the scenery never changes. Jalen Wettengale's had different scenery every single lap ever since he took over the lead in lap 5. Everybody else has been looking at his back bumper. Bobby Williams is trying to change that. And a little contact between Bobby and Jalen. Jalen gets sideways. Midwest Sheet Metal caution comes out. Looked down, then looked back up in the one of Bobby Williams, and I don't know if Jalen Wettengale got loose first, but Bobby Williams got into him. You can see some damage on the right rear of Wettengale's car, and just looking at things right now, Jalen sure thinks that spot needs to be his. Race control asking for help from spotters all around the track, and the call has been made that Bobby Williams made some contact with the 91, didn't get off of him off of turn 2, and Jalen Wettengale is going to be able to hang on to his spot in P1. And in all reality, that was a heads-up veteran move from Jalen Wettengale. If he had stayed going and we had stayed green, he wouldn't be getting his spot back right now. But by the caution coming out, allowed the officials to confer and elect to put Jalen Wettengale back up in P1. Through the Pitts Realty restart zone, JT Carroll. Lots of sheet metal damage on the right side of the 94. Terry Schultz has gotten past him. Big mess of cars as Schultz is now up to second. At the line, he had JT Carroll by just a nose. And Jalen Wettengale, with laps winding down, only 3 laps remain. Carroll goes from second to fourth, unable to navigate through 1 and 2 well. That puts John Sheets up to third, and John Sheets started in 8th. He's up 5 spots. One more time around for Jalen Wettengale. Down the backstretch, all the way from Topeka, Kansas, had not won a B-Mod race all season long until the final night at Lucas Oil Speedway. Jalen Wettengale wins on championship night as J.C. Morton unable to finish, but his dominance throughout the entire year earns him the championship at Lucas Oil Speedway.